We have time for one more question from the audience. So, Mr. Stephen, a question on the card that says, with fixed income families, how would you address property taxes and their need to try to balance their costs and what they have to pay to the state government?
Well, first of all, those fixed income families, I want to say, we're going to do everything we can first to balance the budget at the state level. I'm hoping and hopeful that the local selectmen out there that watch the property taxes are going to be able to do the same at their level and be fiscally responsible, unlike the way we have been in the last 4 years in the state. You know, when the state's increasing spending 24%, and however you look at it, you know, total spending 24%. Though, what message does that send to the town selectmen? And also, the governor is not telling you that the state's being sued by the Municipal Association for over $100 million of downshifting costs, taking rooms and meals tax away from communities, taking the contribution to retirement, taking sewer and water aid, cutting off building and bonding aid. $100+ million this past budget, Governor, and you know that. You're being sued because of that. That's downshifting. And I want to make sure that those local communities are able to work hand in hand, Scott, with what I'm trying to accomplish. We're all in this together, and we cannot have any more increases in property tax like we've seen in the last few years under Governor Lynch.
Governor, your approach on property taxes?
Actually, we're still in litigation over decisions John Stephen made, which downshifted costs to the counties. So that's ongoing litigation as a result of decisions that he made. One way you can help with local property taxes is by keeping the commitment to local communities, to cities and towns. And we actually increased aid to communities in this biennium versus the previous biennium. What drives up local property taxes, there are a lot of things that drive up local properties, one of which is when the state significantly reduces its commitment to communities. Now, John Stephen has said he is going to cut spending by 10% across the board. Half of the budget is aid to cities and towns. Half of the budget. So if he's going to cut spending by 10% across the board, half the budget being aid to cities and towns, that will have a dramatic increase in local property taxes. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right to the seniors. I don't think it's right to the taxpayers. I don't think it's right to the communities which struggle so hard to provide services to the citizens of their local towns and cities.
Can you take a minute to talk about the 10% cut?
Well, the downshifting issue with the counties is just about keeping seniors at home and in their communities, saving so much money. The counties run the nursing homes, so maybe they don't show up as much in the nursing home. I tried so hard, and I will continue to do that, but the counties have to work with the state. That's the issue. The local selectmen have to work in sync with the state. We're going to keep more seniors in the community. This 10% across the board reduction, Doug was my director. We did the same thing at HHS. I want ideas on efficiency, and I want the state employees to tell me what they think we should be doing to balance our budget. Give me ideas, and they will. Trust me, they will. They came up with ideas. Let's join a pool with other states, Commissioner. We went in with 5 other states, 6 states, purchasing prescription drugs for seniors, cut so many of our costs on prescription drugs. I didn't know about that until a state employee said we could do that. We were the leader in so many areas because of ideas from our state employees. I know we can get those ideas, and it may not be that we need every single idea, but we're going to listen, and we're going to find a way to balance with honesty, openness, and no accounting gimmicks that nearly $800 million deficit working together.
Governor, 1 minute on finding efficiencies in the next budget.
Well, we will find efficiencies. As I said, I've already begun working with Health and Human Services. Health and Human Services, as you know, they contract out with a number of different organizations. In fact, they contract out with over 4,000 different organizations, which actually deliver the services to the people. And we're in the process of undergoing a transformation study to try to rationalize that. I'd rather, instead of paying for administrative costs, invest those programs and dollars in helping the people of our state. If you go back to the state budget and how it all works, I mentioned 45% of, or close to 50% of our budget is state aid to local communities. That's half the budget. John Stephen said he's not going to touch that. 30% of the budget is Health and Human Services, and we already see rising costs as a result of increased unemployment. He said he's not going to touch that. So that's 75% of the budget that somehow he's going to be able to cut 10% across the board. We still haven't talked about the university system, the community colleges, the state of our courts. Obviously, he's not going to cut debt service. I don't think that's a good idea because the bondholders will be here wanting to run the state. So I don't think we've heard much from John Stephen in terms of how he plans to cut spending, which I think should be the focus of the discussion.